a tale of two cities, but a tale of two planets. Earth and Venus are essentially the same size.
Capacity. Let me begin by apologising to Anne-Marie for the Bali bombings. I apologise for the role of my religion.
There's a moment in your bones when the fire takes over. Blood is running, heart is pumping as the battle gets closer. They can say what they want now, 'cause we'll be screaming now. We can be heroes everywhere we go. We can have all that we ever want. Swinging like Ali, rocking our bodies, standing on top like a champion. Keep your silver, give me that gold. You'll remember when I say we can be heroes everywhere we go. Keeping us down is impossible, 'cause we're unstoppable. Oh, we're unstoppable. Oh, we're unstoppable. Every spotlight, every soundbite, everybody who gave up is just a fuel for wanting him more than anybody against us. They can say what they want now, 'cause we'll be screaming now. We can be heroes everywhere we go. We can have all that we ever want. Swinging like Ali, rocking our bodies, standing on.
Cahaya saat bersama, kita bangun dan hidupi dari sebatas layar kaca. Sejauh jarak, sejengkal jari, bersatu saling menguatkan. Nyalakan cahaya di bawah tekanan.
Not a tale of two cities, but a tale of two planets. Earth and Venus are essentially the same size.
Capacity. Let me begin by apologising to Anne-Marie for the Bali bombings. I apologise for the role of my religion.
Selamat datang di Gonzaga Virtual Festival.
Welcome to Gonzaga Virtual Festival.
Acara ini disponsori oleh
This event is sponsored by
KFC Nadi by Nature, Goreng Garing, PT Kino Indonesia,
Oikos Home Care, Inako An Koko, Biomedica, Hoka Hoka Bento,
dan didukung oleh
and supported by
Gadis, Berita 1, Acara Hits Indonesia, Info Lomba, Berita Lomba, Dunia Musiku, Event Finder, Event Malang, Event Surabaya, Info Media 3, Info.lomba, Jagat Lomba, Ayo Lomba _ Konser Musik Indonesia, Lomba Update, madingevent.id, Mading Pensi,
Media Arga Event, Music Vibe, Olimpiade Update, Pray Event, Sanur FM, Sekolahku Kampusku, seputar lomba, update lomba event, MOV Review, Share Event, Jakarta Network, Laskar Gons, Gons FM, Info Screening, Cirebon Screen, Komunitas Film Jakarta, Society, Event Nasional.
Terus berkarya, jangan menyerah, karena berhenti bukan pilihan. Selamat menyaksikan.
Enjoy!
Hello everyone!
Welcome to Gonzaga Virtual Festival. This year, our theme is Berhenti Bukan Pilihan.
And also, our tagline is Unite to Ignite.
Let us introduce ourselves. My name is Valerie Jessica and
Arya Wibisana.
we are the MC to guide today's debate.
Are you ready yet? So, instead for waiting for too long, let's just start the competition.
Okay, everyone. I hope that everyone have already changed their display name format as well for the grand finals, and we do urge everyone also to turn on your camera during this round, as you are going to be live streamed. We are going to start the motion launch now. Both teams are here.
Semanisda A here.
Okay, Seman Sidoarjo B.
Yes, we are here.
Okay. In this round, as the song suggested, we are going to talk about the many faces of love. So, info slide 1. Kang Suhi is a high school girl who came from a poor family. Her only family is her dad, who is currently hospitalized due to an illness. Unfortunately, she got pregnant out of wedlock with her boyfriend, who turned out to be an heir to a big company. Her father initially wanted her to raise and keep the baby, but the boy's family offered her a comfortable life that includes scholarship, job guarantee, and coverage of her father's medical expenses through the company's funding. The catch is, she must abort the baby, break up, and sign a contract not to ever speak about this incident anymore. Is there any question for this info slide? No? Going once? Going twice?
Excuse me. So basically, the girl do not have any kind of consensus about whether she want to keep the baby or not. So that's going to be government fiat, or is that going to be have like any other mechanism?
Yes, that's going to be up for the government to decide. But the context is the father wants her to raise the baby, but the boy's family did this, and it's up for Kang Suhi to basically argue this dilemma. Is that clear?
Yes, clear cut. Thank you.
Okay. So the motions for this round is, first, as Kang Suhi, this house would take the offer. Second, this house regrets the narrative that people should love their family unconditionally. And third motion, as the Vatican, this house would sell its cultural artifacts in order to fund poverty alleviation. If you pay closer attention, this is the many faces of love. In the first motion, we're going to talk about romantic love. And second motion, we're going to talk about familial love. And lastly, we're going to talk about godly love. I give this to Naila for you to moderate this debate.
Hello everyone, congratulations on getting into the grand finals. As usual, you have 2 minutes to decide your motion preference, the first being the motion you want to debate the most, and the last motion being the motion you don't want to debate at all. I would also like to remind everyone that if you go beyond 2 minutes, then it will cost you your case building time, as we will not be giving time extensions. Your case building time starts now. Sidoarjo A have preference. Okay, Sidoarjo Team D have given me their preference also. Okay, everyone. So based on your answers, the motion that will be debated on is motion number 1. Now that we have decided the motion, we can start for a case building time. You are allowed to use Line or Discord or any other platforms to discuss your case. Please just make sure that you stay in the Zoom and stay muted. I would also like to inform that your case building timer will not be on my screen, but on Ganendra's screen. Your case building time can start now. Okay, everyone, your case building time has ended, and now we can proceed to your debate. First of all, I would like to welcome everyone to the grand final round of Gonzaga Virtual Festival debate competition. In this chamber, we have Sidoarjo Team A as the government team and Sidoarjo Team B as the opposition team. The motion in this round reads, as Kang Soo-hee, this house would take the offer. Also, I would like to remind everyone before starting your speech to please state their preferred POI, either it's through the chat or just directly unmuting. Also, please check if your mic is audible or not. Without further ado, we call upon the first speaker of the government team. Here, here.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay. Wait, I'm starting my timer. Starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. Kang Soo-hee is a high schooler with a background of poverty. None are able to give her a good life, a good financially stable life. We think that when she craves the whole life, her whole life is a stable life, within that as Kang Soo-hee, we should take the decision, right? Three things to notice. First of all, she comes from a poor background, meaning more likely she is unable to support the baby. 3 things. A, C, financially she is not ready because she is living under the poverty and have no stable job. Secondly, she has to also take care of the father, especially as the money, etc. Because she also comes from a poor background, meaning that she has to take care of her father in the future for his medical expenses. And lastly, she craves for a financially stable life because all her life she's been living under the poverty, right? The offer, which we will sign the contract, and secondly, we will allocate them to education, job, and medical covering for father and herself, right? Lastly, we would also stay in school in high school because no one knows about this incident at all, right? To gain our goal, which is having a happy and financially stable life in the future. So move on to my argument. First argument, why then aborting her babies is within the interest of Kang Soo-hee. First thing here, what is the truest interest of Kang Soo-hee and why is it valid, right? Let's take a look at the context. She is also poor. Her father and the family are failed to protect her from poverty, for example. Also, she's underage and not ready, right? 4 things to notice in these things. A, I think she wants a financially stable life, right? Because her family doesn't provide anything of financial freedom at all. B, interest to please her father, as her father also failing to protect her because firstly he is sickly, meaning he is absent for her life, and also he is poor, meaning that she also do not like him yet. Financially, she is poor, mentally and physically she is also still a teen, and socially she wants tertiary education because she is so ambitious in the high school in itself. Since as how then she is poor, she still wants to pursue high school. And lastly, she knows the context for her babies, meaning that 2 things, right? First of all, she knows how it feels under poverty. She knows how it feels to have money at all. And secondly, she also do not want to give the baby a burden as a judge child, for example, because he do not come because they come from a wedlock family, right? That's why the gesture that she pursues high school, the gesture that she stays in high school, it means that she wants a better life, right? And I think as Kang Soo-hee, it is time for her to pursue a good life, to become pragmatic, and to not think about her father anymore because of all the things of the poverty and etc. Right? That's why it is also a valid interest. She got fortunate and she wants wealth as her main interest, right? But for my second layer, why then the only way to survive is this taking the contract, right? Notice how then her boyfriend is a conglomerate, right? It's a one-time chance at all. He has so much power over the situation to take her to becoming financially stable, right? 3 things to notice. A, I think it is mutually exclusive. She cannot keep the baby in us, right? Because want to protect a girl who is wedlock, for example, right? It is actually she will become illiterate or she'll become uneducated, and she'll also fall in the generation of the poverty that her father has given her, right? And lastly, she cannot ask for any responsibility at all for her boyfriend. That's the two things, right? The best case scenario is that maybe she asks for her boyfriend's responsibility. The worst case scenario is that she more likely being someone that is, for example, casted up as and manipulated by the boyfriend family, for example, for defaming their reputation as a really wealthy family. Right? Therefore, I think it is not a risk to take her to that. Right? It is why the only way to survive in this kind of situation is to pursue of opposition to see she also needs to stay and take care of her baby until he is also like not under age anymore and legal, right? This is why I think therefore the only way to survive is also to take the contract at the end of the day. So move on to my second argument. What is the happiness and how then we are able to manifest that, right? I think that Kang So-hee has to put herself over first, right? Because the father asking the baby as a return for his contribution for raising her and etc. It is not a return at all, right? Because it is a responsibility of him as a parent to take care of her, and he failed in this case, right? The one that is suffering right now is Kang So-hee, and she has the right to make the final decision and cannot be influenced by her father at all, right? I think there's three things to notice. First of all, all about her dreams are going to center around three things. First, university or tertiary education, because she is so desperate to go up from poverty to not be surrounded by everyone that is able to survive and able to get a lot of wealthy money, because she looks at every single people around her and she sees no people with the background of tertiary education. Secondly, she wants a stable job because her father, who is sickly, cannot provide a stable job for her. Therefore, she has to live with insecurities every single month to ask what I will eat tomorrow because her father are failing to protect her and he also sick. And lastly, she wants her father and also for her as some kind of safety net in the future, right? I think it's perfectly clear that Kang So-hee has put this interest for her because her dreams are so valid of being something that is financially stable, right? Therefore, it also becomes the burden of opposition to see whether her father are becoming a main figure of her life, even when he also failed her and asked for give back, even though it is also the responsibility of a parent, right? So, what is the trade-off under Girls of the House, right? Judge, notice the trade-off is that, maybe they will talk about their mental strength, etc., right? Two things to notice. A, it will heal over time. She is able to reflect. She is able to see upon herself, to see for the better future. She knows that her better future are waiting for her. Therefore, she's also able to heal over time. And lastly, even it's going to be really bad under opposition of the house, right? Because two things. First, they will feel guilty because her child will be seeing like bullied every day for being a wedlock child and likely will need education at all. And secondly, she'll constantly second guessing, insecure about her life because by then she do not take good path inside and ask what is going to change if she is able to take the contract and do that. Therefore, as Girls of the House, we are also very proud to propose.
We thank the previous speaker for their speech, and now we call upon the first speaker from the opposition team. Hear, hear.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay. For POI, you can unmute yourself. Okay. I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Kang So-hee, we don't want to take the offer and we will keep the baby. Our goal is we want to fulfill Kang So-hee's interest when she loves her baby so much. Our mechanism is firstly, we will not take the offer. Instead, we will take care of the baby. Secondly, if it's possible, we will keep our relationship with the boy. speak to publicly to share our story. Okay, moving on to my first argument, why is it is morally correct for us to reject the offer? Our first layer is, let's talk about the Kang Sohee interest. Okay, let's characterize Kang Sohee. Okay, imagine you are a girl from a poor family when you only have a dad, and the fact that Kang Sohee survived survived and never left for that. It's enough to portray that Kang Sohee is really love for that, then unconditionally. Moreover, when you have another option to live with a rich boyfriend, but the fact you are stay with your dad, it's portrayed to you that love you are really love your dad, and Kang Sohee interest is to make her dad happy, and what her dad interest, and the question will be, what is her dad interest? Okay, her dad interest is clear in the context slide. It's he want to keep those baby alive, and we think that Kang Sohee inherently interest is to keep the babies so didn't make her dad sad. So comparing with government side, the moment you want to take the offer, that is the moment you cannot fulfill her dad interest, means the decision from government side will only make Kang Sohee sad and feeling sorrow because she abort the baby and cannot fulfilling her dad interest. Furthermore, it's only regress her dad recovery in hospital, meaning it's only hampering the recovery of her dad. We don't think that Kang Sohee wants to see her dad suffer, means the one that fulfilling Kang Sohee interest is opposition side. Therefore, we say that it's more beneficial if you are following our side. Okay, moving on to my second layer is why status quo mechanism is allowed. Okay, under our side, we will reject those offer where we agree that it will contain a lot of money, but we think that as a Kang Sohee, we still can survive. The reason is, firstly, we think that under our side, we still can keep the relationship with the boyfriend. Why this is likely? Because the fact that the one that break the relationship is the boyfriend family. We think that boyfriend can leave her and live happily ever after, but he's not leaving her. That this is proving to you that he still loves her. Moreover than that, the fact that he loves her even though he's from rich family and she from a poor family, it's proving to you that he really loves her sincerely. Okay, and another, let's take a trade-off. Even if this boyfriend doesn't want her, we think that there is another mechanism. Firstly, how is volunteer from a society. What we mean of society is we have two stakeholders. Firstly, it's charity organization and society in general. And okay, let's talk about charity organization. For charity organization, we think that they have interest to help Kang Sohee because society interest is to help suffer and vulnerable person. The moment they know her, the moment they know that she Kang Sohee are suffer, we think that they will try to help her. Secondly, society. Let's talk about society in general. Okay, Judge, you need to notice that where the society social media is very developed, and we think that under opposition side, when we reject the offer, we will have freely to speak up because no one will stop us. No one will opposing us when we share this. It's very likely because for society in general to sympathy how society right now are progressive. Moreover, it's very likely because we are proving to society that we are the one that succeed to portray that we are a victim of the family. And the moment we can tell to society that her boyfriend family have evil friend and not fair. I thank you and treated her, and we say that it's already proved to them that we are the victim. And even if at the very worst scenario that we will suffer, it's okay because it's perfectly fine because it's if we are we are we are have least money, much money because she still have fulfilling his interest that full that make her that happy. Therefore, we think that the moment we reject the offer, we still can be survive. Moving on to my second argument, benefit in our side. First, we have three benefits. On the first benefit, we are the one who could satisfy Kang So-hee because due to context that say that her dad is sick means that Kang So-hee is sincere girl that full of an affection we affection towards her family. This because it's very lucky because she really love her baby and doesn't want to abort it. What happened in government side is firstly, yes, maybe seems happy, but in deep heart, she will A, guilty and of her dad and her baby, and B, have a second guessing and happen those two things when are the material that offer because it's useless where you get to that you get the money but you feel you are broke, your debt, you broke your debt hurt. Another example like for example indigenous people that lower the lot so much and stop to choose money, compensation, and apartment. Therefore, we are fulfilling her feeling. Therefore, we are very proud to oppose. Thank you.
We thank the previous speaker for their speech, and now we call upon the second speaker of the government team. Hear, hear.
Am I audible now?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay.
Hi.
I'm going to start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Their whole cases is basically dismissive with our points at the very first place. Talking about how they were saying about how these partners, this boyfriend will actually going to love the babies, that the moment it is born, then it's going to grow to love in itself. It goes the fun towards the babies at the very first place. We don't think that this is actually going to be mutually exclusive, that it is already even explained by my first speakers, talking about how that this that they were that they are all that they all is actually trying to portray about how the family in itself is actually still insists about their breakups at the end of the day, about how the boyfriends in itself don't feel any kind of responsibility at the end of the day. But even if that this kinds of like breakup, this kinds of contract is not being signed by Kang So-hee at the very first place, we don't think that this is going to be good in any way, because at the end of the day, the parents in itself, the family of these boyfriends, will going to try hardly to separate this boyfriend with Kang So-hee at the very first place. That at the end of the day, it's going to even create a toxic relationship, whether they are going to fight over their parents, whether they are going to like fight just because they feels that they have like different opinions, and it's going to still entitled towards that problems at the very first place. That is why at the end of the day, this just going to even burdenize Kang So-hee, right?
Yes,
But I'll always trying to say about how it's going to create a second guessings, that the Kang So-hee himself going to regret the decisions that he has made just because he is actually feel so reckless, etc., etc. We do think that it's already been talked by my first speakers, and it's have been clear, even like it's already like talking about how this second guessing is not going to be accessed, because exact your babies, that your children will not live fondly, that your children will not live prosperly, because they are more likely getting a judgment coming from the environmental. They are not going to be an legitimate child, that they are going to feel so separated with their friends and are unnecessary, because it's already been like taught by my first speaker. But moving on to my clarifications, talking about how they were also skills, saying about how Kang Soo-hee is really love his fathers. That is why he still stays with his fathers. I do think that the reasons why he stay with his fathers not because he really loved him that much, but more like because he feels that the reasons why Kang Soo-hee is not going to move out is because Kang Soo-hee is still a minor, that she is still underage, in which that she didn't has any kind of responsibility to go out from the house, and this should be like a responsibility coming from the parents, which is the fathers at the very first place, right? That's why I don't think that their cases will going to be that kind of like will be like really that much going to be counted in these cases. But right now moving on to my rebuttals. I have two rebuttals in here. Firstly, talking about how it's going to hampering lives of the fathers because he feels sad. I do think that this is not the interest of like I don't think that this is like the basic interest of Kang Soo-hee, because even the first speakers is not actually explain that much about why he is really fond with his fathers. That is why this should be depict first rather than talking about how it is going to hampering lives because it feels sad. Because if we are looking to the fact that these fathers is more likely just feelings about, well, the reasons why that the other reasons of sadness in itself is not only like about how Kang Soo-hee is going to abort, but more like because he feels so worried that Kang Soo-hee will not have anyone in this world the moment he left. But if we could actually take that money, take that offers, at the end of the day, we could actually fund and like we could actually support these fathers at the very first place, right? Because we could actually track it up for the healthiness towards his fathers at the very first place. And that's why we do think that this is where it's going to be even better. But right now, moving on to my second rebuttals, talking about how they were saying about saying about how Kang Soo-hee actually love her baby that much. That's why they don't want to actually she don't want to actually abort her at the very first place. We don't think that this is true, because if she loves her baby so much, then she actually have a really like rational mindset to actually going to support her babies by not actually born these babies at the very first place, right? Because she really aware that she didn't have any kind of capitals, that she didn't have any kind of mental stability, that she didn't have any kind of educations that are going to be needed by child the moments her mother's is the moments her mothers are not that kind of like capable at the very first place, then it's going to also impact it towards their child at the end of the day, right? But even if that they're trying to actually making such a parallel examples about how this is also like the same as indigenous community, that it is only like that you are going to lose your land, that you are going to just going for your pragmatic reasons at the very first place. We don't think that this is true, because indigenous community at the very first place is talking about a communal benefit. Meanwhile, this baby's life is just for this baby's life at the end of the day, right? That's why the moments like if we just going to maintain these babies, it's not only like affected towards Kang Soo-hee per se, but also like towards the babies in itself. Right now, and this is going to actually link it towards my extensions, talking about how it's actually give a worse conditions for the child in itself with the whole conflicts that are going to be accessed. Well, the moment that the children in itself will actually going to be born, somehow it will only like makes her life to be being abusive at the very first place. Why is that so? Because firstly, talking about the environmentally, that that more likely they will got like this kinds of judgment, that even this kinds of conservative and patriarchal norms will going to say that they are not worth it, that they are just mistakes at the very first place. Secondly, it's going to even affecting towards Kang Soo-hee the moment she feels that that it is right to actually abuse her, because these children already takes her life or already like takes her futures at the very first place. That is why we do think that this is what Kang Soo-hee trying to prevent at the very first place, right? And it is also a Kang Soo-hee interest to prevent a intergenerational poverty that are going to be happen. Therefore, we are proudly to oppose.
We thank the previous speaker for their speech, and now we call upon the second speaker from the opposition team. Here.
Hello, is this audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. Just unmute yourself whenever you want to offer any POI, and I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Judge, it's clear that as opposition Sarang House, our stand is that we want to reject this kind of offer. 3 points that I will address in my speech. First, let's talk about which mechanism that fulfill interest of Kang Soo-hee. Second of all, let's talk about the survivability of Kang Soo-hee. And lastly, let's talking about my extension later on, right? So first of all, let's talk about the interest of Kang Soo-hee at the end of the day, right? When they try to come up in this debate and they try to champion that, the interest of Kang Soo-hee is 2 things. First, where Kang Soo-hee interest is that she want a finance, for example, because currently she live in a poor family, in a poor circumstances where she can't get anything. And secondly, they think that Kang Soo-hee interest is that she want to abort the baby, for example, because they think that Kang Soo-hee are not prepared since she is just a high school student, for example, and it is not mentally stable. So let's analyze this one by one, why then it still can't fly under their central house. So first of all, let's talk about the finance at the end of the day, right? We don't think that Kang Soo-hee interest is she want a money at the end of the day. Let's imagine you're a Kang Soo-hee before this accident happened, before you are get pregnant. You have 2 choices in your life. First, where you will leave your family, you will leave your father, for example, and live happily ever after with your boyfriend, where you can't have all of those tertiary things. You have Gucci bag and so on and so forth. And second choices is that you still live with your dad and you still live in poor circumstances at the end of the day. Judge, the fact that Kang Soo-hee still want to stay with her dad means that what her interest is, she don't want any kind of money. Her interest is don't want to be a sugar baby, for example, but her interest is to stay with their family at the end of the day, right? The fact that she don't want all of those riches, she don't want to leave her family just to live happily ever after with her boyfriend, for example. That is why means that this Kang Soo-hee interest is that she are a woman that actually care with his family, with her family, whether it is with her father, for example, or even with her baby at the end of the day. What does it prove? It proves that Kang Soo-hee interest is that she will reject this kind of offer in order for her to fulfill her dad interest, and secondly, to actually make this baby survive at the end of the day. That is why we don't think that her interest is talking about the money at the end of the day, right? And secondly, when talking about mental, Judge, imagine you are a girl, for example, that raised in a poor family, and you only have father that actually sick, for example, that actually have illness, and you don't have mother at the end of the day. The fact that Kang Soo-hee still can survive until right now, she still can actually pursue those education, means that Kang Soo-hee already through a lot of things, and she already have a strong mental at the end of the day. Means that government don't need to worry about mental of Kang Soo-hee because we think she are prepared at the end of the day, right? But comparatively under their server house, okay, we also admit that Kang Soo-hee under their side will have all of those money, will have all of those tertiary things, and so on and so forth. But we think that Kang Soo-hee will never happy in any way. the fact that her interest is talking about her family, for example, means that no, thank you, I have a lot of things to say, means that the moment she actually received those offer, only left this guilty feeling of on Kang Soo-hee at the end of the day, right? We don't think that she will happy when she know that she get those kind of thing the moment she abort the baby and she left her father interest at the end of the day, right? So that is why we think that exactly the one who will fulfill Kang Soo-hee interest is only under our set of house. So secondly, let's talk about the survivability of this Kang Soo-hee, right? When they try to claim that the only way for Kang Soo-hee survive is through this offer at the end of the day, right? But first of all, we don't think that it is true. We think that under our side, Kang Soo-hee still have her boyfriend at the end of the day. Two reasons why it is likely for her boyfriend to actually help Kang Soo-hee at the end of the day. First, the fact that you are a boy, live in a rich family, but you still want a girlfriend that live in a poor circumstances, that have a father that have illness, for example, and those girls don't have mother. The fact that you still want to have relation with those girls means that this boyfriend, this Kang Soo-hee boyfriend have sincere love towards this Kang Soo-hee at the end of the day. Means that regardless how circumstances of this Kang Soo-hee, we think that her boyfriend still want to help her in any way, any POI.
Why then, if the family of the boyfriend do not even want the boyfriend to be in contact with her girlfriend, why did she still want to stay together, right? Because I think it's still really questionable as of the house whether they want to stay together even when their family do not even want them to be in contact anymore, right?
Okay, we also admit that those scenarios happen. But let's take it, right? Even if at the worst case scenario that this boyfriend family will oppose you, for example, but we don't think that people that live in this world, only Kang Soo-hee and her boyfriend family and also her boyfriend, right? We think that there is a lot of society that actually care about each other, for example. Under our side, the moment we reject those offers, we think that there is no one that will limit our action. We think that Kang Soo-hee still can express their feeling, for example, still can share her story in social media, for example, or even there is Me Too movement that exists, right, where your name is still anonymous at the end of the day. Means that under our side, we still can get society sympathy, we still can get volunteer coming from society at the end of the day, and means that under our side, we still can survive without those boyfriends at the end of the day, right? That is why we think that it is exactly better the moment you follow our side of the house. And last point, let's talk about my extension, talk about the feminist movement at the end of the day, right? You need to notice that under our side of the house, the moment we are rejecting this offer, for example, we can freely express our feeling through social media, for example. We think that a lot of feminist movement exists in this kind of in the current status quo, right? It can get actually their attention, for example, to see that exists this vulnerable woman that actually raised her baby and she don't want to abort the baby, for example. We think that it is likely in any way for us to get help coming from this feminist movement in any way. Exactly under their side, she will oppose by feminist movement, and we are very proud to.
We thank the previous speaker for their speech, and now we call upon the third speaker from the government team. Hear, hear.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Wait. Wait, setting my timer. If there's any POI, just unmute yourself and interrupt my speech. I will start my speech in 3, 2, One. Opposition's case is to only rely on how Kang So-hee is very altruistic, so she want to keep the baby at the very first place, right? We think that we already proved to you clearly that Kang So-hee already through a lot of things, a lot of suffer. When in the past she is already that suffer because she is already because her dad sick, she don't even have mom, or even she is already poor at the very first place. Means her main interest at the very first place is to prosper themselves, is to opt out from this suffer conditions that already trapped her for a long time, right? We think that this is the truest definitions coming from our side. Why then opposition's definitions say that Kang So-hee is very altruistic is not true, right? Because naturally a person want a betterment, a prosperity in her life. They don't want to be trapped foreverly in severe situations. When the moment under their side they want to keep the baby, for example, there will be even more burden. They need to pay for her dead hospital, for example, need to pay for her care for during her pregnant, for example, to pay for her baby needs and so on and so forth. Or even in the next day they would find there would be even more societal judgment at the very first place, because she live in society that very conservative, that keeping the baby from keeping the baby is very it's a taboo things at the very first place, right? We think that their definitions cannot be counted, and Kang So-hee is not that altruistic. Our definitions of in this debate, right? But moving on to my independent rebuttals. When the moment they try to prove to you that they would keep the relations with the boyfriend and so on and so forth, and they would live happily ever after and so on and so forth, we're questioning how does it relevant. How the boyfriend want to steal with Kang So-hee at the very first place. More likely than not, her boyfriend don't want to be with Kang So-hee in the future, right? Because first of all, you cannot expect her boyfriend to be so altruistic, to be so mature, to responsible towards her baby, their baby in the future, right? Second of all, their family already oppose them, right? They would try to keep them in distance because they don't want bad image coming from towards their big company at the very first place. More likely than not, they would oppose these relations. They would not happy ever after, right? But even if yes, it is true that they're going to love in the end of the day and so on and so forth, they're going to stay together and so on and so forth in the future. We think that this is very harmful, right? When you run from your home and so on and so forth, we think that this is illegal because when you will not happy in any way because your boyfriend would kick by their parents in any way, you would not have those prosper life like your propose in the debate, right? We think that this is not going to be happen in any way under their side. But moving on to my first question, we're going to talking about whether or not it is between the interest of Kang So-hee to keep the baby or not. First of all, when the moment they try to champion upon how they would keep the baby in order to fulfill their interest of her dad, because when the moment they are not fulfilling that, Kang So-hee would set and so on and so forth. We're going to prove to you why it is unnecessary, right? First of all, it is unnecessary to hear for her dad because it is already the responsibility of her dad, and Kang So-hee don't need to return that manifested into keep the baby and hear for her dad interest, right? Moreover than that, her father already failed to prosper Kang So-hee because right now she is poor and so on and so forth. It is unnecessary to hear for her dad. But even if yes, and it's true, it is necessary, right? We think that this is going to be better under oppositions because when the moment we're less prioritizing our dad interest, it is perfectly fine because in the future her dad also get health expense in any way. They were success to protect her dad in any way, right? But when the moment under their side, they would not get this health expense, for example, more likely than not, her father would even more suffer with his illness at the very first place. Second of all, Kang So-hee would not set if she is not here for her dad interest. Because Kang So-hee, it is her time to choose the best for their life. More than that, these decisions going to impact that of their life, whether she's going to continue her school, whether she's going to get the job or not. Because more likely than not, when the moment she is kicked out from school, she cannot continue in varsity, or even it is hard for her to accept in job and so on and so forth, or even she is burdenized with their baby, with her baby and so on and so forth. Right? These decisions is all of these decisions is on Kang So-hee hands. No one could interfere. It is important for no one to not interfere in in Kang So-hee interest, because in the past she cannot really choose because she is poor and so on and so forth. We think that this is not important at all to fulfill her dad interest, even if yes, in its still we are at least we're able to protect her dad, right? But no, thank you. But second point, when women they try to claim on how their society mechanism, charity, volunteer, or even feminism, and so on and so forth, we're going to directly prove to you why it is not reliable, right? First of all, it is already assist a lot of people, and when the moment charity organizations, they're going to pick the vulnerable one, the poor one, and so on and so forth. More likely than not, Kang So-hee would not choose by these charity organizations because pregnant and so on and so forth, she don't have baby by accident and so on and so forth, is a very taboo things at the very first place, right? But even if yes, and it's true, is it going to be enough at the very first place? Because she needs to pay for her baby, her own, and her dad in hospital, right? We think that this is not going to be enough in any way. Kang So-hee would going to be even more suffer, right? But lastly, when the moment they try to prove to you, it is she's already mentally ready and so on and so forth. Because she already through a lot of things. This is no, right? You cannot expect people to track record when the moment in the past she is strong, but right now she's facing a big problems. Her decisions might be changed by time in any way, right? We think that Han So-hee, it's hard for Kang So-hee in any way to survive, to survive because she's going to be mentally burdened and so on and so forth. But therefore, this clash goes to our side, right? But moving on to my second clash, which side that could protect Kang So-hee better? When they try to prove to you, yeah, there will be second guessing under our side. Yes, and it's true. We'll admit that there will be second guessing under our side, but we're going to prove to you why our second guessing is going to be better under their in compare with their side, right? First of all, it is still healable. Secondly, there will healable, and secondly, our second guessing under that side would even worse, right? There will be two second guessing towards the baby because she already put this baby in jeopardized situation, in poor situations in society that very judgmental and so on and so forth. It is going to be that harmful, right? Their second guessing is going to be that harmful, but under our position, we could at least protect the baby, and second guessing in Kang So-hee would still going to be better and healable, right? But lastly, when the moment they want to speak up and so on and so forth, we're questioning what is the feasibility, right? More likely than not, Kang So-hee are the one that's going to be judged because her boyfriend family have capital, have power to flip for the fact, and secondly, her family would sue Kang So-hee under the case of defamations when Sopratu propose.
We thank the previous speaker for their speech, and now we call upon the third speaker of the opposition team. Hear, hear.
Hello, is this audible?
You are audible.
Wait. I'm going to start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Panels, I think that government saraf daos is too easy to take conclusions that Kang So-hee boyfriend family, it's a very healthy family, the one who will fulfill the promise without any evil intention behind that. And they think that Kang So-hee dad, it's the failed dad because put Kang So-hee in the poverty condition and so on and so forth. And the others, right? We as oppositions, we will go to all the scenario and we will going to prove to you why it is still going to be better to go to opposition side of those, right? Number one, if they claim, if they say that Kang So-hee interest is they want to have a stable life, Kang So-hee interest is she want all those materials, she doesn't love her dad so much and so on and so far. The question will be why Kang So-hee still being with her dad until now and not go or even run away from her dad and go to her boyfriend family and so on and so forth, right? The moment that Kang So-hee stay, meaning that Kang So-hee have a noble interest to love her dad so much. And secondly, positive agree that the family will oppose her because at first the boyfriend family already do not like Kang So-hee, right? So the question will be, what is the urgency for you to accept the family member the moment you already concerned that your boyfriend family is a toxic family and they do not like you, right? under the side of the house, there is no urgency. I don't know why they want to go to her boyfriend family and they want to get a control and so on and so forth. That's why there is no happiness that will happen under the side of the house. Several independent rebuttal before going on to my class. They claim that under their side they will worsening baby life. The baby will get the bully and so on and so forth. Let's see how illogical this is, right? Number one, the time that will work until the baby goes to the school, until the baby grows, it's already so far from this case, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, people already forget this case because this case already overclouded by another case that happened in those countries, right? But lastly, even if this baby will get bullied, we think that a peer stakeholder like how her mom, they will protect her. Already appear a counseling, they will defend her, right? Moreover, by the time, of course, people in the world awareness about bullying, of course, already developed by day, ladies and gentlemen. It proves to you that in the future, even if this kind of baby will get bullied in the school, of course, people that will defend them is a lot because the awareness of bully, of course, increase day by day, right? It proves to you that there is no harm the moment, even though this kind of baby get a bully. And second, the moment they say that Kang Sohee will get a bad reputation because society will condemn them, because society it's conservative. Number one, we think that it's not that conservative like how they say, right? Like how they say, right? And moreover, the reputation will not going to be bad because society will look Kang Sohee as the strong woman, brave woman to speak up, and Kang Sohee could incentivize another victim that get the same cases to speak up, ladies and gentlemen. But even if at the worst case, the society is so conservative, like how they say, why it is still bad under their side, right? Exactly, condemnation happen under their side because the moment society is so conservative, society will think will have a bad mindset, like how society will questioning why Kang Sohee and her dad suddenly get a stable job, suddenly get a lot of money, suddenly can get a proper education, that her dad can easily pay the bill of the hospital without any reasoning behind that. And of course, society under their side that's so conservative will think, oh, that Kang Sohee is sex worker, for example, or even Kang Sohee use an evil way to get the money and so on and so forth. That's why harm under the side of the house. First class here, should Kang Sohee accept the offer or not? They claim about Kang Sohee interest is stable life and so on and so forth. She is not ready to take care of the baby in the hospital, in the capital, and so on and so forth. A, stable life. Yes, everyone want a stable life. It's naive if we say Kang Sohee do not want a stable life. Several reasons why Kang Sohee will still have a stable life under our side. Under our side, the moment we portray Kang Sohee as a victim, the moment we already succeed to share the grievances, people will sympathetic towards Kang Sohee, ladies and gentlemen, because it's clear who is the one who evil, who is the one who become the victim. Society, of course, will donate to her, not only the feminist movement, not only the society, but also feminist movement, right? But B, in her heart, Kang Sohee will feel peace, Kang Sohee will feel satisfied, no second guessing under our side of the house. Our proposal will teach people to speak up, ladies and gentlemen, to keep our feeling as a woman. No, thank you, as a woman, right? But and thirdly, the money can get the moment she bring this case to the court, ladies and gentlemen. We think Kang Sohee still can win in the court by two reasons. Number one, of the society power, right? Of course, this case happened in South Korea, where South Korea is very concerned about the humanity issues, progressive government they are already consider about people power, right? The moment people already biased towards Kang Sohee, of course he will going to be win in the court, right? But secondly, the moment the family will going to be shut down the case, the boyfriend family shut down the case, it's not likely because since government under our side will protect the victim, because the context is the government is very considerate about the high democracy, right? Moreover, the moment this case happened in South Korea, citizens have capacity to send a letter to the government, and if it's more than 500, government will handle it, right? Therefore, it's going to be win. And the moment Kang Sohee already win in the court, they will get the boyfriend family could pay the fine, and it will become the things that could make stable life towards the Kang Sohee. But at the end, even if Kang Sohee life isn't that stable, we think that it is still going to be okay, because at least under our side of the house we could fulfill her interest, ladies and gentlemen. Because at least under our side of the house we could portray through her and show her what is the truest happiness, ladies and gentlemen. Her truest happiness is together with her family and so on and so forth, right? And second class here, will accept the offer beneficial or not. They claim about the guilty feeling that will going to be healed by time. There is no urgency and there is no things to worry, right? It is illogical because guilty feeling isn't a scars in your leg that will cure by time. Even if it could, it need a super emotional support. It need society support, ladies and gentlemen. And let's prove proof why the support not going to be happen under their side, right? Two things. Number one, because under their side, the boyfriend family will control all the life, ladies and gentlemen. The boyfriend family that's so toxic will control all Kang Sohee life, right? Yes, he will get a stable job, but at the same time, he will also going to be abused by her boyfriend family, right? And B, why there is no support under the Saraf the house, because Kang Sohee dad will also going to be threatened by this boyfriend family, right? To not be speak up, ladies and gentlemen, and understand a lot of material will useless the moment you know that the moment you as Kang Sohee dad isn't allowed to speak up, ladies and gentlemen, do not get happiness. It means it way much more suffer, ladies and gentlemen, because under the Saraf the house they will feel so lonely. There will be no words like how like me comfort you and etc. Because under the Saraf the house they live in the illusion of happiness. There is no true happiness that happen under. There's no true happiness that happens under the Saraf the house, right? And last talking about the baby. Why the baby still going to be happy, ladies and gentlemen? Because at first in the capital they still get a capital, how this kind of Kang Sohee is still going to be apply a job because the potential, her track record it's good because he's a victim and he brave to speak up, and secondly from the donation that comes from the feminist movement or even the society, the volunteer and so on and so forth. And thirdly, why the baby mental is going to be okay, because Kang Sohee could secret it and so on and so forth, and we're so proud to oppose.
We thank the previous speaker for their speech, and now we call upon the reply speaker from the opposition team. Hear.
Hello, is this audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Thank you. I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Judge, it's so naive for government side of the house to always play in their base case scenario, where they say that, oh, society is conservative, that, oh, her baby will get bullied, and so on and so forth. They never prove to you what if in the best case scenario, for example, those kind of things, it doesn't happen, why then it is something that perfectly fine to follow the rest of the house. Under our side, we don't want to be utopic. We don't want to be that utopic. We are realistic. Okay, maybe society is that conservative, but we already proved to you that it is exactly where the moment you follow the rest of the house, because society will start to question, for example, will start to question where Kang Soo-ho get a lot of those money. Maybe society even think that Kang Soo-ho be a sex worker, for example. That is why we think that judgment still can be happen under the rest of the house. So to clash why we win in this debate. First clash, let's talk about the Kang Soo-ho interest at the end of the day, right? So government come up in this debate and talking about, oh, that Kang Soo-ho interest is talking about two things. First, about the finance, since she is a poor girl, for example, and secondly, about mentality, they think that because these Kang Soo-ho are a high school student, for example. We already responded by saying that, oh, it is something that not true in any way, because we think that what Kang Soo-ho interest is don't want any kind of money. Why? We already portray you how actually Kang Soo-ho already a lot of choices to be happy the moment she left her dad, for example. Like how before she get pregnant, for example, she still have choices to actually left out from her dad at the end of the day. Even they try to claim, even government come up in this debate and say that, oh, her father is so evil, like how he is fail to actually make a rich circumstances for Kang Soo-ho, for example. But the fact that Kang Soo-ho still want to live with her dad is proof to you that actually Kang Soo-ho interest is that they want to gather with their own family at the end of the day, right? It proves to you that Kang Soo-ho interest is don't want to be a sugar baby, but what her interest is that she want to actually meet with her father, for example, actually fulfilling her father interest and actually still want her baby to live at the end of the day, right? Exactly the one who will fulfill that is under our side of the house. And secondly, when talking about mentality, we already proved to you that actually it is still okay in any way, because the fact that Kang Soo-ho still can survive through all of those things. For example, she never committed suicide, for example, means that actually her mentality is strong in any way. We already responded by saying how actually under their side it is worse. okay, we admit Kang Soo will get a lot of money, but those Kang Soo will feel guilty at the end of the day, like how she needs to actually kill her baby in order for her to actually still survive in the current status quo. That is why we don't think that Kang Soo interest is talking about money, but rather talking about the family at the end of the day, right? So that is why this class still go to under our service house. And second class, let's talk about the survivability of this council, right? When they come up in the TP, that the mechanism for you, the only mechanism for you for council to actually survive is true, except this offer, for example. But we think that it is not true in any way. We already proved you a lot of mechanism how actually council will still survive. First, her boyfriend, for example, the fact that her boyfriend are actually coming from rich family and he still want to have relation with a poor girl, for example, means that he have sincere feeling at the end of the day. Means that regardless how Kang Soo-ho's circumstances is, we think that her boyfriend still actually help you in any way. But even if those boyfriends are not reliable, we think that there is still exist society in any way. Like how we already prove you, how actually society is developed day by day. For example, we are still get our sympathy in any way, like how we portray that we as a victim that actually don't want to abort our baby because we are care towards our family, for example. We think that we still can get those kind of support in any way, and we respond how actually feminist movement still exists in any way, and we are very proud to beat LGBT.
We thank their previous speaker for their speech, and now we call upon the reply speaker from the government team. Hear, hear.
Hello, am I audible? I'll start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Judge, 3 things to notice in this debate, right? First of all, how then that happiness is that continue to her happiness, right? Because the fact as to why she seeks for other source of happiness, high school, her boyfriend, which is a lot of other school stuff to make her happy, for example, is the fact as to why her dad failed to make her happy, right? Yeah. Secondly, talking about second guessing, right? I don't think how they talk about the second guessing about keeping the baby and etc. Right? Notice how that even if she kept the baby, the relatability feeling with the baby of them being bullied every single day are there. It is in my speech and they never even engage to that point, right? Which is questionable why then they are very dismissive towards our point, right? But lastly, talking about charity, right? First of all, it is really unfeasible since how then charity have a lot of people, like how the Chalina said. And second of all, we never give what kind of charity is it? It is right. Is it NGO? Is it private charity, etc.? Because of this, how then Planned Parenthood, for example, do not are not available in every country like what they try to claim to be, right? But moving on, right? I think it is a fiat, right? How then the boyfriend family will give her all the stuff and then move away. I don't think that the whip point about being in control, etc., are relatable anymore, and are relevant anymore, since it is not in the context anymore, right? But you need to notice that they dismiss in this, that they never engage this point, right? First of all, conscious extension about intergeneration poverty, about how then she will feel comfortable about poverty, she will feel enough about poverty, she will never go out of it, everyone being explained by 2 people in their side of the house, right? But thirdly, how then she is very ambitious, she's going to school, she has a big dream, never even being engaged one by one, even when I already give to you 7-minute speech about it, right? But let's talk about how then they engage to our point, right? First of all, think about speaking up and etc., right? I think there will be so many points in this debate which should not be counted on our changes, right? Because new point from it cannot be reported by anyone else. 3 things. Firstly, talking about the court, we think that if the court inside the house are assuming they are able to succeed, therefore I think the family could also be succeeding with the defamation of reputation. Right? I think their life will also be ruined in jail, etc. Right? But second of all, the consular, right? First of all, it is new point, but second of all, also it is a curative mechanism which we don't want to have, because at that point of counselor, exactly she's already suffering with their life, for example. And let's talk about the government. I don't think the government will want to attend to you having consensual sex, for example, with your boyfriend and wanting to save you, because actually it's her consent and right? But more than that, right? Notice how that they talk about all our points are decided by sustainability, right? How then I talk about dreams, about varsity, about something like job, etc. It's all about sustainability of life, right? All their life are very short-term benefit. How then it is only a scope of the life of the children, right? They never even could profit. How then they could work all the time. They just want to depend on every single stakeholder inside, right? But 2 questions in my speech. material wealth, and opportunity bring about how then father by reasoning like how then they want to stay and they don't want to hamper the health of the father. Right? Three things. How then they are staying because they have to, they physically cannot live because endangerment of the child. For example, how then the father will also be to jail without that. Secondly, how then recovery could also be supported anywhere else because it is not the only source of the recovery by seeing her child happy. For example, how then there's medical expenses, etc. And lastly, how then charity are very unreliable, like how then shall not claim. Right? The tipping point is that judges what is the true characteristic of these people, right? Of Kang Soo-hee, right? Is it altruistic or is it pragmatic? Two things. If she run away, if she can run away like what Gading said, but she does not, it means that she's pragmatic. Why? Because she knows that she cares for her safety. She knows that she wants to stay alive until she is in the varsity and job. Therefore, it is a pragmatic decision to do that. And lastly, if they love the father so much, for example, executives, they will not pursue school at all. She will stay with her father all the time because she wants to take care of the father. Right? Therefore, I think in this class we win because we can prove to you how then she is very pragmatic. She want to be independent and she want to pursue school and etc. But second class, how then Kang Soo-hee future look like? Government bring university and opposition bring about then their strong mental and etc. One, they depend to 1,000 stakeholders, her boyfriend, her family, her society, her feminist movement or something. I think the people is really, I think Kang Soo-hee is very independent. For example, they don't want to depend anymore like how they depend to her father. But even if it is so lonely, it is okay because she's used to loneliness since she also know about her father is absent in life. Therefore, we are very proud to propose.
We thank the previous speaker for their speech, and that marks the end of our debate. Participants may stay on the Zoom and let the judges deliberate, and the winners will be announced shortly after this. We would like to thank everyone for such a great round and their participation, and to all the viewers, thank you for watching this debate.
Wow, we have just witnessed a very heated debate. Isn't it really exciting? For the winning team, congratulations, and for the team who haven't got the chance to win, that's alright. I know you guys are great enough, and I'm pretty sure that there will be another chance for you guys to win.
Unfortunately, we have arrived at the end of the match. For all of you who have watched the live stream today, thank you very much. And don't forget to watch the other competition at Gonzaga Virtual Festival.
Stay tuned to Gonzaga Virtual Festival social media, and don't forget to watch our closing. Thank you guys, and see you guys next time. Bye!
Acara ini disponsori oleh
This event is sponsored by
KFC Nadi by Nature, Goreng Garing, PT Kino Indonesia,
Oikos Home Care, anak-anak, Biomedica, Hoka Hoka Bento,
dan didukung oleh
and supported by
Gadis, Berita 1, Acara Hits Indonesia, Info Lomba, Berita Lomba, Dunia Musiku, Event Finder, Event Malang, Event Surabaya, Info Media 3, Info.lomba, Jagat Lomba, Ayo Lomba _ Konser Musik Indonesia, Lomba Update, madingevent.id, Mading Pensi,
Media Arga Event, Music Vibe, Olimpiade Update, Pray Event, Sanur FM, Sekolahku Kampusku, seputar lomba, update lomba event, MOV Review, Share Event, Jakarta Network, Laskar Gons, Gons FM, Info Screening, Cirebon Screen, Komunitas Film Jakarta, Society, Event Nasional.
Selamat mengikuti rangkaian acara kami. Terima kasih dan sampai jumpa.
We hope to see you for the next few days. Thank you.
Terus berkarya, jangan menyerah, karena berhenti bukan pilihan.